Do you ever get the feeling you're not as good as you could be? Kind of like you're just treading in water and no matter how much you practice, you're not getting better? Wouldn't it be nice to know why that was? It's your left hand. So here's the top 5 biggest left hand mistakes and how to fix them. Number 1 is you're simply squeezing too hard. You're going to play your chords and you're pinching with your hands like a little lobster. But that's not really how you want to be going about it. Let me explain a more proper technique for playing anything, really. First of all is you don't want to really be pushing down that hard at all. And the only reason you feel like you need to is that your fingers are placed incorrectly. If your fingers are placed like this, maybe this looks fine to you. That sounds like shit. But with that same pressure, just moving it right up close to that fret, rings out perfectly fine. So at all times, there's never a time you don't want to do this. You want to have your fingers as close to that fret without being on top as you possibly can. I like to put mine so it's my fingers touching the fret quite literally with the edge of my finger, and I'm just barely behind it. And not only that, instead of squeezing, you want to be pulling. Squeezing is terrible for your hands, and I know because I used to do it so much that I started to develop carpal tunnel from squeezing so much. But the thing is that you have bigger muscles than the ones that squeeze your hands, and it's your back. Your back muscle is huge in comparison. You can pull back with your back on the frets, and then you can play anything, even bar chords, without even putting your thumb on the back of the guitar. You want to be pulling back as opposed to squeezing for a more consistent sound. Number 2 is that you're not using the tips of your fingers. When you're fretting, a lot of times it's common to use this ball part of your finger, right? And go, the flat part I should say, when you're playing. And try and play like that. But that's a messy way to do it, first of all, and it's also not as convenient for your hands. You want to be using the tips of your fingers at pretty much all times. So when you're playing, bring your fingers, arch them like that, and then place them so that the tip of your finger is what's touching the guitar. I pretty much have permanent lines, or you can't really see them right now. I've been making videos instead of playing guitar, but oftentimes I'll have lines on the tips of my fingers just from playing guitar because I'm using the tips of my fingers all the time. Especially when you go for things like bends, there's no way you're going to get the grip to bend with the flat part of your finger. Like, it's just going to slide down. But if you have that tip of your finger on the string, you can scoop into it so that the string stays on the tip of your finger and goes into the bend. Number 3 is that your hand is way too tense. Oftentimes this is part of squeezing, but even when you're pulling, a lot of times when you're playing things that are hard for you, we have a tendency to tense our hands up to try and get them down. But let's do a little thing together right now to loosen our hands up. I was taught this pretty early on in my playing, and it's monumental. Take your hands, shake them out. Get them all loose. I'm so serious. Just doing this, letting your hands get loose, and keeping them that way. Like, as you do this, I hope you're doing this with me right now. Otherwise, I probably look pretty silly. But if we're doing it together, that's kind of fun, kind of cute even. But shake your hands out, get them loose. Now they're feeling pretty loose by now even. Let's just shake them out a little longer. Get them really loose. You feel that? Leave them like that. Don't tense your hands up while you're playing. You want to be loose, especially if you're trying to play quickly. It's impossible to play something like if you're tensing up your hands while you're trying to do it, because your hands move quicker if they're loose. Like right now, try and go like this. Just move all your fingers like in a wave as fast as you can. Now tense up your hands and try and do it. It's impossible. You can't go nearly as quick. If you have your fingers loose, you can go really fast, but you tense them up, it slows it down like 100 times. That same thing is happening to your hands while you're playing the guitar. So keep your hands loose while you're playing. By the way, if you want to dive deeper into unlocking the fretboard so you can write and improvise freely, I have my free community link down below where there's lessons on doing exactly that, and you can ask me questions directly so I can help you hit your goals. Don't miss out. Number 4 is that your hands simply haven't done enough. As guitarists, we often see crazy players, super high level players, and we're wondering, how are they even doing that? Like, how do their hands move that quick? But we don't take the time to think, well, maybe they've done similar things to what I'm doing for many more hours than me, for many years. A lot of these super high level players understand how to practice efficiently, and they've been doing it for a decade, 2, 3, 4 decades, and really just nailing what they're doing. If you understand the time span of which hitting that high level is, you understand where you're actually at and what it takes to get there. So don't ever forget the reps that it takes to get super proficient at the guitar or anything. You need to put the time in and understand that one of the biggest things your hands are lacking is simply effort towards the right things consistently and repeatedly so that they can move around efficiently. For example, if you're playing over a song and you're wondering, why can't I play over the chords easily? I would ask you, how many times have you played all of the chord shapes around the fretboard? If the answer is anything less than 1,000, I have your answer why you can't do it. It's because your hands don't know the shapes to a subconscious level. I will often say, I talk to a lot of guitar players, and I will often say, especially to the earlier players when they tell me when they're struggling with something, I'm kind of exaggerating when I say this, but I will literally tell them, do it 100,000 times and then come back to me. And I say, you can't physically be bad at something after that much volume. And I really believe it. If you're struggling with something on the guitar, try doing it 100,000 times. Way before you get there, you'll be good at it. I promise you that. And if you're not, tell me. Seriously, I would love to hear about it. I would have a hard time believing it, but I'm open to finding out that that's not true. And number 5, this is a pretty big one, is bowing your wrist out. I see a lot of players go to play things, especially if it's like a stretchy chord, like these add 9 chords. They'll try and bow their wrist out so they can stretch it out. It actually feels so uncomfortable right now. My carpal tunnel's acting up. But you don't want to bend your wrist out. You want to make sure your wrist is actually pretty straight at all times. Even when I'm going for that chord, I guess I have a little bend, but I'm making sure my wrist stays behind the neck, right? You don't want to have your wrist like way out under the neck. You want to have your wrist pretty straight and your hand behind the fretboard. Any bowing that is going beyond the fretboard and you're sticking in front of it, you're just harming your wrist, like genuinely harming your wrist. Not like it's like worse for your playing alone, but you're actually harming your hands. And like I was saying, it's worse for your playing. It's harder to play the chords and you're hurting your wrist. So lock in, keep that wrist straight as much as you can while you're playing. When I go on these bar chords, wrist straight. When I'm on this chord, wrist straight. Even on this one, there's a little bow on that, but not too much. You want to keep your wrist behind that neck. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow.